Okay, good morning, traders. Just getting my screens up here, just a moment. Boy, things are moving slow here for the moment. Okay, can you hear me and see my screen? If you could just type yes in the questions there. Looks like I'm good. Okay. All right. Okay, well, welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. When you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. There's a 4-part educational course. This webinar here just gives you kind of the basic education. The course goes into much more detail, starting with simple market mechanics like book sweeps, order flow and balances, and then it gets into much more advanced iceberg orders and confluences and different markets, etc. That education is then backed up every day with our advanced order flow webinars, and those are at 11 a.m. every weekday. Okay, and we go through the same content, but we do that in the live market though, so you guys can understand what you're looking at in the order flow, what Bookmap is showing you, and how this you can use this to your advantage. And then based on our analysis in that webinar, we start to anticipate future price movement. Okay, so what we're going to do in this webinar is just go through some of the basics here and then get into the interface of Bookmap and what's going on in the order flow. Now, it's going to be a short day today, and tomorrow is a US holiday, so not looking for a lot here, but let's jump over to the website and answer a few questions here about what Bookmap is. Okay, we're a software trading platform. We're not a broker, we're not a data provider. Okay, so we connect to 3 different types of markets: digital currencies, futures, and US equities. Okay, so now let's scroll down here. There's an intro video here, information about Bookmap. US equities, I'll talk about this in a second. And then connectivity. Okay, so we defined what Bookmap is. Here's how you connect. Okay, now you can see there are some other platforms up here, like Ninja, TT, and XTrader Pro, Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Now you can connect via the API of those 3 platforms if you like, but we're a platform too, so it's better to connect directly to the data provider like CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. Now the Dev Experts or DX Feed is what you'll use to connect the US equities. Okay. If you have questions about this, let me know. Very low latency, full depth of market for stocks. This is a great advantage. You get NASDAQ total view and EDGX if you like, or one or the other or both. Okay, so you can get that consolidated feed. All right, so now you know how to connect Bookmap. Let's go over how you can get Bookmap. Here are the different packages. You can subscribe yearly for a 20% discount or monthly. Okay, you can see the digital versions here and global versions. So let me explain. Digital version, you can see this is free. It connects, and the connection is free as well to the GDAX exchange. That market's open all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's the reason that we're offering it for free, so you can always check out and see what's going on in a live market. And now, if you trade futures, that's okay. Or if you trade stocks, that's okay. You get an idea of what Bookmap is displaying, but for those specific examples, well, then you're going to need to get the global version, okay? Because the Digital Plus version here, what this covers is only digital currencies, okay? And what you get is the ability to trade from the Bookmap chart into your live GDAX account. There will be more digital currency exchanges offered soon. You can record and replay that data. Okay, you get up to 20 different digital currencies, where the free version you only get one. And you get delayed feed of US equities, and you also get the advanced education that I mentioned. Okay. Now the global version is when you moved on from digital currencies and you want access to the other two types of markets. So this connects to futures and to US equities. And that's the difference here with the global version. You will need to provide that data though for futures and US equities. Now the Global Plus version, the only difference are the add-ons. Okay, one is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart. Okay, a great add-on because now you can manage your trades with the liquidity heat map in front of you. Okay, so front run high liquidity, hide your stops behind high liquidity. Then we have these other proprietary indicators we put together that look at very specific order flow phenomena. Our large lot tracker starts to identify larger players providing the majority of liquidity at specific price levels. Our imbalance indicators looking at both the book and the volume imbalance. Iceberg detector, we have a new one of these as well. There's now two. And starts to identify, again, larger players. And they're hiding their liquidity, and we can identify them. Then correlation tracker, adding different markets onto the Bookmap chart. Okay, so just a few more resources to go over on social media here. At Bookmap_Pro is our Twitter handle, and all sorts of information here daily. You can see information about one of our educators here, a message from our CEO, and this was just posted yesterday about yesterday's price action to see we'll just click on it here. Very clearly saw later in the day after the webinar, after 1:30, you can see the big breakout here to the upside. Anyway, and then some, or follow us here on Facebook as well. Now the YouTube channel, let's go over that. We have a playlist here, or many playlists on the front page, intro videos, understand some of the different features and components, and then order flow video snippets. This is where you're going to learn about order flow, what Bookmap is showing you, and how to use it. Okay? This is the kind of content we go through in detail in the advanced order flow webinars and our education. Okay, let's jump into Bookmap and see what's going on here. Here we're looking at the NASDAQ E-mini, and look at the 9:30 open and right down immediately. Okay, and all right, so we're looking at a bunch of different things on this chart in Bookmap, and we have a lot of indicators open here, so I'm actually going to close those up, but I want to demo that we have a sub panel here, the cumulative volume delta. I'm going to close that up, and then a lot of traders look at that. We have some other lines on the chart here. One is this historical VWAP, this white line. Okay, I'm going to close that up as well. And we see our iceberg detector as well as our VWAP. Turn that off. Okay, and then this blue line here is our point of control. Okay, so we track that point of control for you, and you can see the behavior there. Now, we've kind of simplified the chart, taking some of the add-ons and indicators off. And what we're looking at here is a very basic but objective and truthful chart. We're looking at three elements here in the market. One is the current and historical best bid and offer. Okay, there's no aggregated data here. There's no candlestick. There's no bar chart that aggregates data within a time period. We're just getting best bid and offer over time. And we record all of that, and we record it down to nanosecond level, so very precise data. And then the second element on this chart are the volume dots here. And what we're looking at there, the volume that traded on that historical best bid and offer. Okay? And the third element is the heat map. Now, all the heat map is a recording of your depth of market. So if we zoom in here, let's take a look at the depth of market. So everything to the right of this vertical white line here is the current market. Okay, everything to the left is historical. Okay, and what we're doing here is in this window here, we're looking at the liquidity heat map. Okay, all it does is represent the amount of contracts there in the heat map. So high liquidity is painted this orange color here, even red, it would be higher. And then you can see the scale up here, then down to yellow, then white, and then blue, and then black. Okay, would be the lowest liquidity. Now you can adjust this heat map any way that you like, but the representation here in the dome, okay, this COB column, that's the well, you see the price levels here, okay, in the NASDAQ. They're here on the axis here, and then you can see the very high liquidity, right? You see these numbers here, they represent the liquidity, the number of contracts. This is the depth of market here on the offer, and this is your depth on the bid. This is your last traded price level and volume here, and then this is your current best bid and offer. Okay, so now you'll note when these numbers change here, the liquidity heat map changes to reflect that change. Okay. Now where this gets interesting though is we take that data and record it, and we plot it on the chart historically. So now you can start to understand the evolution of the depth of market, and you can use this on much higher time frames. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, look at this area over here. A very high liquidity. Okay, they actually pulled here at this area, but the next area up looks like they traded right into it. Okay, this area as well, and then the next level up as well. And then we get one more kind of move here to the upside, but we have larger players looks like they're starting to absorb. Okay, starting to well, at least get filled in some of these areas, and yeah, looking for them to or looking for maybe exhaustion here on that buy side, and at least come down and test where we broke from down here to 114, 71.14, and we got that, and we can see buyers are right back in. Okay, so we're back up into this area now. Let's see, Martin, you have a question. Are all the liquidity levels that are shown on my chart updated in real time? Yep, absolutely. Okay, yeah, all of these levels, even way up here or way down here, these are all live. Okay, you'll see some of these numbers change, and this is you know, something unique, and it's been around for less than a year, I think. Not really sure, but this is full depth of market. This is the kind of transparency you're getting now with products such as Bookmap. Before you'd only have 10 levels of liquidity in this product. Okay, and some of the data providers out there, like Gain Capital, CQG, they're excellent, but you know, or IQ Feed, but they're not giving you full depth of market. Okay, Rhythmic is giving you full depth of market here. That's one of the reasons why we recommend it. But you'll see these levels down here. I mean, this is all live, right? And this definitely outside of the 10 deep on each side. Well, let's see. I mean, if I zoom vertically here, well, here's I see there's action up here even above 7,200 the figure. Okay, not much, but some. Okay, in the heat map, and then down here as well, down at below 7,000 the figure. It makes sense. And look at the guys are starting to front run the figure down here at 7,000. Okay, just that alone is giving us insight that they want to be buyers down here. Anyway, let's zoom back vertically here and get a little closer to price action. Yes, it does. Rhythmic provides full depth of market for CME products, COMEX, and NYMEX. All right, let's see here. Is it also for the YM? I don't really usually look at the YM and the bonds. Let's take a look at, no, not ZB. Let's look at, yeah, it looks like it's full depth here. Also for CBOT. definitely. YM as well. Okay. All right. No, we have no contract with them, Martin. There's no money exchanges at all between us and Rhythmic at all. We like the way that their data is comes into Bookmap, so a bit more accurate, we think, in the microstructure, and then you get this advantage of this full depth of market. Okay, there's another added advantage too, and I think it's broker dependent, but Rhythmic will offer 2 different connections at the same time, okay, from the same machine. Yeah, you'll have to call Rhythmic on, to see what their prices are, or your broker and see if they offer it. Okay. Oops. Didn't want to go there. I'm trying to get to the questions. Yeah, you might want to contact them directly. So you can get, with the broker, you can have it actually, you can trade from Bookmap using Rhythmic into a live account, no problem. But you can also just get the data from Rhythmic that's not connected to a broker. Okay, much more like IQ feed, for example. Anyway, let's move on here and let's see. Okay, so I covered the 3 elements here on the Bookmap chart and the heat map, and starting to understand some of these levels here. Okay, and yeah, look at this failed here, and well, I mean, just looking at the order book alone is giving us a lot of insight. Look how on the offer they're up here at 71.25 earlier. Well, they got pretty aggressive here. They lowered it down into these areas at 71.20. Then look at the buyers. Okay, let's adjust my dots a little bit here and my smart clustering. Okay. All right. Well, you can see there's kind of a battle going on here at 71.16 or so, and back and forth, a lot of volume it looks like. But buyers do not take these guys on. We start to rotate lower, and then look at the sellers here. Okay, this is typical in order flow. They start to take control here. They start to hit the bid, and then let's zoom in a bit further. Okay. Well, here's the retest, and here's another retest. Where are the buyers now? Right? Well, they're not showing up. Sellers come in and they hit the bid hard here, and you can see it very, very clearly. Okay. Now let's show a candlestick chart here, a 5-minute candlestick chart. Okay. So, all right. So between here and here is 5 minutes of data, and we understand here just after the first minute that the sellers are in control. Okay, right down to higher liquidity here, and they continue to take it lower. Okay, we're not seeing any of that in this candlestick. Right, it's all aggregated within a 5-minute period, and that's the disadvantage. Okay, we're not aggregating the data; we're showing everything. And if you really want to see, you can zoom in here, and we can look at microstructure and look down at, as you can see here, we're looking at microsecond level and even nanosecond level. So we're talking about billions of seconds. Every single event here is recorded. Okay, and then here are the 3 elements on that chart. Okay, one is that best bid and offer. Okay, so here's the best offer, the red line. Green line is the best bid. Okay? And the transactions here, these green dots are the aggressor buyer. Okay, they crossed the spread, they paid up for it, they took liquidity off of the best offer. The red dots, these are the aggressive sellers who took liquidity off of the best bid and hit that market sell button. And then the liquidity heat map is where they're bidding. So this is the auction, right? This is the aggressor who's jumping into the market, and this is the auction where they're providing liquidity. So we have a complete view of what's going on in the market with these 3 elements. Okay? And we're able to see these microstructural moves. Okay, a lot happened within this 5-minute period. Okay, we broke down here, we kind of went sideways a bit, and we started to break down again on strong volume. Okay, so we can see very clearly this kind of second leg to the downside here, and we got a retest. Okay, where did we get the retest to? Well, where it broke down from here, and there's a volume cluster up here as well, and here it is, right to it. This is one of the setups we look for. It's in the education, looking for a retest back to where they sold to see if they're re-engaged or if we see less buyers. Yeah, that's kind of what we got. Buyers are still trying to move it up in these little areas here. One more tap up here, and then they don't show up. We find the sellers start to come in and right back down to the swing. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's see, any more questions here? Okay, so that's the story really of what occurred here when in this 5-minute period. Okay? The higher liquidity was down here at 7,100, the figure. Right now, we came kind of close to it here, but probably a lot of people covering. Getting out before maybe getting down there, or maybe buyers are starting to try to scoop it up before the figure. Anyway, the auction is not really showing us too much. We see the high liquidity still down here, and we traded through. That's on the bid. We traded through them up here on the bid. Okay, when we can zoom in here and we can know precisely how this traded. Okay, so and let's just go through it. So we see that there are 30 contracts here on the best bid, and what traded? 30. Okay, so we know that these traders got what they wanted here. Okay, they are now long. All right, and it traded through them. There was more selling pressure. Okay, you can see how I'm alluding to all sorts of different things of why we return back up here. Okay, and then why we start to go back down. Okay, well, what if these traders, what if maybe they're not layering into a position, instead they're waiting to cover if price can come back up here, and they're at a loss. And that's why a lot of times this setup, makes sense. Anyway, continuing on, just understanding the speeds of these moves, the microstructure, and how the volume and the auction all relate to each other in context. You're getting this complete picture of what's going on in the market. Very objective. Okay, just the candlestick here. The concept of the candlestick is a lot less objective and a lot more opaque. Okay, we don't know where the volume traded, what type of volume, how much, and exactly where. And that's just the volume. We have no clue about where they're bidding and offering. Okay, so anyway, that's the order flow here. Now let's zoom out here. We've got a few more minutes before the next webinar starts. And let's turn off the candlestick chart and let's take a look here and see what's going on. Okay, well, we're just testing through here our 71 figure, 7,100, yeah, I mean, we were down there earlier, as you can see, down to 70.90, and some people scooped it up, but here's our retest. Okay, our retest was about halfway. Okay, and this is a same setup that we were just looking at, more or less, and let me just mark that up. Because we want to look very precisely at this. Okay, so I'll draw a line in here. Here's our swing high. Why did we come back there? Let's zoom back in. Okay. Well, we had some consolidation here, a little bit. In this area here, I would say, but like and high liquidity as well in some of these areas here. Okay, but we see the continuation and breakdown here. Not seeing a whole lot of why we return right back into that area here. Not much. Maybe there was something else in the chart here. Just looks like a 50% retracement. I mean, you can see them here on the offer at 71.25. And continuation onward. All right. So, okay. So anyway, the retracement here. Well, the move was stronger at the open. Okay, and we continue to accept lower. So if that's the case, then I'm looking to go lower and test the lows here. And you can see the liquidity already here at 71.90. Okay, that would be the target, is the low. Yeah, looking for this this trend to continue. Okay, and when we see something else in the order flow that tells us something different, then we'll note it. Okay, and we can start off by looking at some of these areas here. Okay, well, the sellers definitely had appetite here to take on the bid and trade through that area here, high liquidity. Okay, we come down lower into this area here. Okay, are they staying in the book? They are. High liquidity. Boy, it's not a lot. We have basically 40 contracts here, and only 27 of them traded. Or I'm sorry, 39 of them. But as sellers continue to move it lower here, come into this area here. Okay, and yeah, it looks like they're starting to pull though. We got the pull back and the continuation. Now we just came down into 96 here. Okay, so we're just trying to note, where are the larger players? You know, how are they getting filled? And we can do that because we've got this heat map here that shows us the activity. Okay, and then look at this area here. Well, not one contract traded here. Okay, so they're providing liquidity here with 30 contracts, and the best bid goes into it, but they don't even trade. Okay, not until here does it trade. Okay, still making lower lows and lower highs. Nice cluster of selling, looking for 70.95 here to test. And they're starting to pull as well. Okay, one caveat though is like this area down here, higher liquidity, and look at we're starting to make in the structure here, starting to understand we're making, well here very, you know, aggressively since the open we've been going and making lower lows, but here we made slightly lower low, right? So starting to note that and starting to note like our swings back here as well, pretty deep pullback. Okay, so maybe we're starting to see the potential here for reversal. Anyway, the chart will tell us. We'll see them starting to bid up here. We'll see the aggressor come in. We'll see exhaustion on the sell side, and we kind of got that right here. In fact, nothing traded down here. Traded up a bit further. Okay. All right. So just noting those things. We're still in a downtrend though. But starting to note that this structure is starting to change. Anyway, let's wrap it up and have a happy holiday tomorrow. In the US, it's July 4th, Independence Day, so we won't hold a webinar, but we will see you guys on Thursday. Okay? All right, guys. Yeah, have a good holiday, and we'll catch up later.